Okay, don't get confused by the wide angle effect. This is my studio, and this is where I do all my work and all of my videos and everything, and it's actually fairly tiny. Let's take a look. In my last live stream, I asked you what video I should make for my next Monday video, this video, and a lot of you actually suggested that I make some kind of what's in my camera bag video for 2020, and I was all about that. I was in love with the idea, but then I started thinking about it and I realized I don't go out very much. I'm basically in here doing tutorials, editing videos for clients, and that's where I am most of the time. So I figured something that might be a little bit more valuable to you, something that might be a little bit more appropriate, would be a what's in my studio. So today, I'm going to take you on a little studio tour. I'm going to show you all of the gear that I use to make my videos. I'm going to show you how I have it set up, how I have my other gear organized, and hopefully by the end of it, you'll have some kind of idea, maybe of how to organize your own space if you're working out of a tiny little office area like I am. And when I say tiny, I mean I'm 5'5". I'm short. I'm basically a people McNugget, but if I step back and I stretch my arms out, put one arm on the wall and stretch the other one out, this arm is actually going over the edge of the desk. So I don't have a lot of space to work with, but I've made pretty good use of it, I think. So I'm gonna show you how I did that. Let's get started. Let's start with the desk. This is home base. This is where everything happens. This is where I make all of my tutorials. This is where I do all of my editing. This is it. And this desk is actually fairly new. If you saw my vlog a couple weeks ago, you will have seen me getting rid of the old brown little study desk and putting this in its place. This one has a lot more surface area. It's a lot bigger, which means I've got a lot more room to organize my stuff. It was donated by Tech Examined. Again, thank you very much, sir. It's so much better. I used to have everything everywhere. My old desk basically fit my laptop and a camera, and that was about it. Now that I've got a lot more surface area to work with, everything's a lot more organized. The gear isn't just everywhere laying wherever I can put it. It's actually, there's a little bit of a system now. So let's go through that. Over here on the far right of my desk, you'll see my switch pod. That is where I put my camera. My switch pod got the Joby ball head on it, Canon SL2 on top of that. Canon SL2 is my camera. It's what I use to make all of my videos. Hopefully I will be getting a second camera this year, but for now, this is what I have to work with. And honestly, it's a great camera. I never did a formal review of it, but if you are just starting out and you're looking to get your first camera, I would highly recommend the Canon SL2. Right now, you can get it for between $400 and $500 on Amazon with a kit lens, which is a super, super good deal. It's got the same sensor as the 80D. It can shoot 1080p, 60 frames per second, which is really nice. I still enjoy using this camera. Next to this switch pod is my webcam. It's the Logitech C922. It's what I use for all my live streams. It sits on top of my Suryui 3T-35K travel tabletop tripod, which in my review on it a while ago, I actually said that it was the best vlogging tripod, but that was before the switch pod came out, and now I basically just use the switch pod for everything if I'm going out and vlogging or something like that. This big distracting light behind me is a 12 by 12 LED light panel. It was also donated by Tech Examined. There's actually a lot of things in here that were donated by Tech Examined. I don't have a lot of money, but I've got really good friends. I don't know the name of the manufacturer who made these lights because I've Googled the model number and everything, and I just cannot, for the life of me, figure out who made these lights. So if you go to the gear page on my website and you see those newer 12 by 12 light panels, that's not this, but I do recommend those lights because they're cheap and they work. So there you go. On top of that light is a softbox. It's a round softbox by Defuse. It was like $45 on Amazon. The reason why I got it was because the problem that I had was once I found the balance between the ISO setting on my camera and how bright the light needed to be in order to get proper exposure, I had this problem where my face was very, very shiny, and I didn't like that. I wanted to get some nice soft white light, and the plastic diffuser that came with the light panel just wasn't cutting it. So I got this diffuser, or got this softbox, and it works like a charm. I absolutely love this thing. Now I do have another one of these light panels up against the gear wall. I'll show you that in a little bit, but this is the main light. This is my key light, and this is what I use for all my videos. One of the other problems that I had when I first started filming in the studio was the fact that when my microphone was on top of the camera, it was way too far away from my face, and I started getting a whole bunch of reverb in my videos because there's no sound treatment in here. So for a while I was actually using a little cheap scissor arm that I actually kind of like. It's got an XLR cable feeding through it, which is nice, and I was using that on my old desk, and I was able to get the microphone where I needed it, and so I got better audio. But then when I got this desk, this, like I said, a lot more surface area, a lot deeper, a lot wider, and so it was harder to get that scissor arm in a place where I could actually, you know, get the microphone where I needed it without it being in frame. So what I did was, actually the day that I made that last vlog, I ordered this thing. This is a tabletop boom mic stand from Samson. It was $25 on Amazon, and it's perfect. It's got a nice heavy base, so it's not going to tip over anytime soon, and I can basically put it anywhere on my desk and the microphone will be where it needs to be. Now, if you're asking why I have a tabletop boom stand and not like a C-arm or another mic boom stand maybe sitting behind the desk, it's because there's not enough space. I mean, back here, you probably see it. We've got a stack of boxes that probably either need to be donated or go up in the attic. I don't know. I'm not in charge of that stuff. You know, we got cat stuff over here. We got the vacuums behind me. There's just a lot of stuff. There's not enough room for another stand sitting on the floor. So this tabletop boom stand is perfect if you're running into issues of getting a lot of reverb and you need to get the microphone closer. 25 bucks on Amazon, highly recommend. Now, you'll notice that right now I don't have a microphone sitting in the shock mount on this boom stand, and that's because it's sitting on top of my camera. I use the Deity V-Mic D3 Pro. It's absolutely the best mic I've ever used to make a video. I love this thing. I did a full review on it before, which is, I mean, like I said, best microphone I've ever used. It usually sits right up here, about, you know, that far away from my forehead and pointed down at my chest, and that's how I can get the nice sound without a whole bunch of reverb in the room. Another main staple on my desk is my Zoom H4n Pro, which I use as a USB interface for my microphone when I'm live streaming, or maybe I'm doing a voiceover, or if I'm doing the screen recording for the tutorial. I plug the microphone into the Zoom H4n Pro. I got the Zoom H4n Pro going into my computer via USB, and everything just works perfectly. I also take this thing out in the field if I'm shooting and I want to get some ambient noise for my video, for when I do sound design later. Then I'll bring this with me so I can record some of the atmospheric noise. Moving on to the laptop, which, contrary to popular belief, is not an old MacBook. This is actually an HP Envy X360 15-inch. I bought it for 600 bucks refurbished on Amazon. It's got a dedicated NVIDIA GPU, but it's not a very good one. This thing is not an editing powerhouse, but it does get the job done. I'm hoping to upgrade the computer this year. We are working on that, and there will be if it works out, there's going to be a series of videos surrounding that. So make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss that. I've also got this nice Asus 4K monitor. I think it's 4K. I'm pretty sure it's 4K. Anyway, this is a great little monitor, and it was donated, also tech examined. It came with the desk, and this thing's great. I had it set up as dual screen for a while, but my GPU on my computer can't really handle that, so I basically just have the monitor as the monitor, and then I have the laptop basically using it as a keyboard with some USB ports, and then I've got my mouse over here. So that's my little computer setup, and that's the stuff that's on the desk that I use on a daily basis. This is my main video setup. If we come over here to this side here, we've got my leaning tower of random stuff, and it's just like notebooks. There's some kind of like portable printer thing down there that's not even mine. And On the top, I've got a little hard case that I keep my lavalier mics in, and when I go out, I bring my Zoom H4n, and that usually goes in that case as well if I'm going to be using it with the lavs. And then on top of that, actually, this is pretty cool. This is fairly new. I ordered this the same day that I got this boom stand. This is a little cable organizer, and if you do not have a cable organizer, I highly recommend you get one, because I don't know about you, but I got cables for everything, right? I got cables to charge the microphone. I've got cables for, I don't know, I've just got cables everywhere. So I got this cable organizer, and it's absolutely wonderful. It's got a whole bunch of cables in here already, and there's space for SD cards and accessories on the other side. If I open that up, we've got some space for, you know, power bricks. I've got my RAV Power file hub. I recently did a review on this. I've got some, you know, 1/4-inch audio jack adapters in here, and just a whole bunch of little stuff that used to either sit in my junk drawer or it used to just float around my desk and get lost all the time. Now I've got a single place that I can put all this stuff, and it's great. And when I need to, you know, pack up everything, instead of trying to find that pocket where I can jam everything in, I put it in this, I throw this in my bag, and I'm good to go. So if you do not have some kind of cable organizer, 100% I would recommend getting this. This is, I don't know, this was like 15 bucks on Amazon, I think, and it's great. Directly behind me, right next to the leaning tower of crap, is my printer. This is a HP NV7640. It's not important. You don't care about the printer, but it does print photos. So if I was a photographer, that would be cool, but I'm not. I'm just a video guy. But yeah, there's my printer. The printer used to be sitting on top of a rum barrel, and I used to have a bunch of stuff stacked on top of it. It was a mess. It looked horrible. I apologize to all of you for subjecting you to that vision of horrible, nasty, just gross imagery. I'm digressing. Let's keep going. Underneath the desk, I've got storage bins and boxes and stuff. And the cool thing is it's a completely open underneath here. So even with the storage bins and all that stuff, which I keep cables, old microphones, stuff like that in, even with all that stuff under there, I still got plenty of leg room to stretch out with. It's really nice. I've also got a little 2-drawer nightstand. It actually is a nightstand. It used to sit next to my bed in my old apartment, but it's under my desk now, and that's where I keep batteries and some other boxes for electronics. And there's even an N64 in there. I should probably take that out and plug it in and see if it still works. All right, well, welcome to the gear wall. This is where I keep everything that's not sitting on my desk, and it actually starts over here on the actually wait, before I show you that, let me show you this right here. These are headphones on clamps. Thank you, Donna did it. You are a genius. Also over here are all my bags. This is the corner of bags. Now typically I'm using this Low Pro Fast Pack right here, and this thing's great. I mean, I can put all my gear down here in this section. I've got a whole compartment up here for other stuff, and there's a lot of space in this bag. It's got a spot for my laptop, which I don't really need anymore because I've got the RAV Power file hub, but you know, it's still nice to know that it's there. And I've been using this thing for a little over a year now, and I absolutely love this bag. But also back here, some old camera bags. One of Arian's old camera bags. Actually, I've got a couple backpacks and laptop bags and stuff like that. But this down here, this is all, that's all in my bags. And then on top of this rum barrel here, which is still ironic because I still don't drink, is a whole bunch of stuff. We got some gear. This has become my junk drawer. There's like maybe some batteries in there. I think there's some LED light bulbs. I honestly don't know what's in there because it's a junk drawer and you're not supposed to know what goes in a junk drawer. Right in front of that, this is the fluid head that came on top of the tripod that I use, and the tripod's great. We'll talk about that in a second, but this fluid head, not so much. Also, on top of here, I've got some microphones. I've got a little $35 toner condenser mic that just it doesn't sound good, but it looks pretty, so I've got it up there. Got my Blue Snowball Ice, which is the first USB mic I ever owned. I used it for podcasting and live streaming back in the day, and it sounds good. it does sound good, but it's got some like built-in compression, built-in noise reduction that I really don't like. I like getting the raw sound out of the microphone so I can edit it myself. And then next to that is the Samson G-Track Pro, which I recently did a video on, and that thing, that is a beast of a microphone. It's got a lot of really cool features. The only problem is it's super sensitive and it doesn't have a shock mount. So I have to place it on the table because it's gigantic. And if I bump the table, you can hear it through the mic. So I need to get a shock mount for it. Once I do, I'll probably start using it more. I've also got a couple lenses on there, namely the Nifty 50, also donated by Tech Examined, and the 18 to 55 millimeter lens. It's the kit lens that comes with the SL2. I don't use that very often, but it does come in handy from time to time. And then of course I've got my X-Rite Color Checker Passport, which you know I love. I've done a video on that. I've talked about it a lot. If you don't have one, get one. It's 50 bucks on Amazon. No, it's 150 bucks. Sorry. It's 150 bucks on Amazon, but it's worth every penny. Definitely pick one up. Leaning up against this rum barrel, next to it in the corner here are tripods. The only tripods that are sitting there right now are these cheap little $15 tripods that I got from Target. They're nothing to speak of, really. They're the first tripods I ever had, and they barely supported the weight of the Canon SL2. I mean, they're probably good for a point and shoot, but not much more than that. Right now, I basically only use them for my little mini aperture lights. I'll stick them on there and use those apertures as little accent lights every now and then. So when I do that, that's when those come out. Otherwise, they just kind of sit there. There's a tripod missing from here. It's the tripod that I'm using right now. It's the Sunpack Ultra 7000 TM. It's a carbon fiber lightweight tripod. The thing, I really like it. I got it for Hanukkah, and it's actually a really, I didn't use it much the first year that I had it, but then like recently I've been using it a lot, and I really like it. The thing is really tall though. This tripod is super tall. I mean, I think it extends to 7 feet. Center pole comes out, and you can use it as a monopod, which is really cool. So I don't know, I really like the tripod. I've also got this Manfrotto monopod, which is really nice. It came with a fluid head, but that's sitting on top of the tripod right now, so you can't see that. And then also down here, which you can't see, is the old scissor arm for my it was the scissor arm that I used to use on my old desk for the microphone. And then up against this wall, actually sitting on the floor, are some other gear. I've got my camera slider, I've got the case for my de-editing microphone, I've got a little camera stabilizer that I'm playing around with, trying to figure out, and that thing, once I figure it out and I actually get good with it, I'm gonna do a full review on it. It's really good, especially if you're using a small lightweight camera like the Canon SL2 or maybe the M50. It only holds 2 pounds, but this is the smallest DSLR on the market. It's well below 2 pounds. It actually can work for that. So once I get better at using it, I'm gonna do a full review. And then also against this wall, it's lighting my face right now, but it's another one of those 12 by 12 LED panels that is over there. So as you can see, I've got a good amount of gear here, and it's all organized pretty nicely, and it's functional, and I can do everything that I need to do in this tiny little space. So hopefully that gave you maybe some inspiration or some ideas of how you can set up your own small YouTube studio. If it did, give me your ideas. Let me know in the comments below. Also, I mentioned throughout this whole video that I've done reviews on a bunch of this equipment. So if you want to check that out, a lot of those videos are linked in the description of this video, as well as right here. So make sure you go watch that, and also for more videos on how to make better videos, make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit that bell so you don't miss anything. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.